car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Good news. The owner of Low Overhead Country, better known as Frontier Motors, is here in this studio, ready, willing, and certainly more than able to take any phone inquiries from you. Would you like to get the price of a car, truck, or SUV you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in? Call us. 478-3116, 478-3116. I will connect you with him. That's Iven Streckel. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Don. Thanks so much for the introduction. And by the way, we are also videotaping this for our Blab TV customers. So if you're watching this on TV, don't bother calling in. But for your radio listeners, like Don said, 478-3116, 478-3116. We can help you with the value of your car. So if you are thinking of buying or selling, that's where we come in. Frontier Motors is the go-to dealer for advice when you are in the car market, which might not be today. So if you're watching or listening to the show and say, well, I'm not really in the market for a car, you never know. I was kind of joking a little bit when I moved here from Wisconsin about 22 years ago that I found out that this was the red light running capital of the world. Everybody around, I don't want to say everybody, that's not really fair, but a lot of people seem to not know what a red light is in Pensacola. Therefore, there's a lot of accidents, and a lot of these accidents are broadside accidents where a person runs the light or runs the yellow, and somebody doesn't see him, and now all of a sudden you are in the car market because your car just got totaled. So you never really know when you're going to be in the car market. If you're driving a car that is an older car, and the Consumer Report says right now the average age of a car on the road in the United States is 11.2 years. So the average person is driving an 11-year-old car. So if your car is going to be retired because perhaps the transmission or engine is failing on that car, you obviously don't want to stick $3,000 or $4,000 into an old car like that. If you had that type of money to do that, you might be better off buying a new car and putting that money down on a newer type car. And that's where we come in to give you the advice on what you should pay for that car. So let's say you're driving an old car, the transmission falls out of it, the value of the car is $3,000, the transmission is $3,000. Don't spend your money on that. Decide to buy a brand new car. So if you decide to buy a brand new car with no miles on it, we have the new car cost guides at Frontier Motors, which gives me the invoice of every car out there. Now, if I know what the invoice is, which is the dealer cost, I can pretty much tell you what you should be paying for that brand new car. The other thing I can help you with is I can tell you what they should be giving you for your used car. 17 million people bought new cars last year. That was I think the second biggest selling year ever. The year before was 17.5 million cars. So new cars are selling like crazy, but so I want to tell you what to pay for that new car, and then I want to tell you what they should give you for your trade-in. At Frontier Motors, we have 5 buyers that appraise cars for us. There's always at least 3 of them there. Some of them are off or on vacation. So we make sure we have 3 buyers there that can give you an appraisal in writing within 15 minutes. And that's going to help you go on your way. So you pop in, we're going to scan the ID number of your car. It takes a couple of seconds. We're going to run the history report on the car, which is a Carfax or an auto check. We're going to run both of them. We're going to drive the car around the block, and we're going to give you a price on that vehicle of what we would buy that vehicle from you for. Now, some people just go ahead and sell it to us because they have another car they can drive. So they'll sell us the car, and they'll go buy a brand new car. While we are appraising your car, our sales rep can also give you an idea of what the type of car that you're interested in, what that car would cost used. Now you might say, well, I want a brand new car. Well, what about if you're looking for a Buick Encore, which is, by the way, that's Buick's small SUV, which is selling like hotcakes. It's a very, very good looking, good driving, recommended by Consumer Reports, small SUV. Well, I've got one on the lot with 10 miles on it, and I have another one on the lot with 11 miles on it. So if you were thinking about buying a brand new one at Vince Wibb's, which, by the way, if you're going to buy a brand new Buick, I definitely would like you to go to Vince Wibb's. Those guys are great guys. I always try to recommend our local I always recommend our local dealers. I don't think there's any local dealer that I wouldn't recommend. We want you to keep the money in our community, shop outside of our community first, and then buy in our community. So if you're going to buy a brand new one, you buy from Vince Wibb's. But before you buy from them, let's just do a comparison and see if I can save you any money on the Encore that I have with 10 miles on it if you're going to buy an Encore anyways. I do a lot of research when I buy a car with 10 miles on it to make sure that I'm not going to be higher than a brand new one because this car is being sold as a used car. And why would it be sold as a used car with 10 miles on it? Because I don't have a franchise. Vince Wibbs paid for the franchise, so there's franchise infringements, which means that I can't sell a new car. I'm not the local new car dealer, but I can sell that car used. It's not illegal for me to buy new cars at the auction.
Which I assume is where these two came from.
Yes, they came from the auction. And what I do is I buy those cars down, I'll put them on the lot, and I mark the box used, and the vehicles have been titled. So if the vehicle is 2 months old, for example, it comes with a 48-month warranty. That's what Buick offers. Well, you're going to get a 46-month warranty at Frontier Motors. But what if it could save you $4,000 over the price of a new one? So that would be very important. The other thing when we talk about giving you advice is when you have that crash at the red light and your car is not totaled, and it has $10,000 worth of damage. What's that car worth now? We give you a letter, what we call diminished value letter. And that means that your car now it's been fixed properly. You took it to a body shop. They did a really good job. They put all new parts in it. You can't even tell it's been an accident. But you run the Carfax report and it says major accident reported, airbags deployed, vehicle had to be towed. What's that going to do with your prospect when you're ready to sell that car? He's going to be non-existent. He's going to say, I'm not buying that car.
Heck no. Why would I?
Why do I buy that? I can go down the road and buy one that has been in an accident. There's only one reason that person would buy that car. Well, actually two. Number one, it's been checked out in the job by a mechanic or by a body shop. Got to make sure it passes inspection. They did the job properly. Number two, it's got to be cheaper. Quite a bit cheaper. Don, I had one the other day. A customer came in and he said he had a pickup truck and it got squished so bad that they put a new cab on.
Wowee.
So they had must have had a truck that had rear end crash, but the cab was good. So they put a cab on. They had to take all of his dashboard, his gauge package, his seats, his seat belts, his door trim out of the vehicle, put the new cab on it, and then put it all back in. It was like $16,000 damage on a $30,000 truck.
Wowee.
What does that do to the value? Well, number one, I wouldn't buy that car. They actually had to take it to the police station to get the ID number verified because the ID number on the frame was different than that on the dashboard because they do stamp the frame with an ID number, the cab frame.
Yeah. So, in fact, there's several concealed locations around any vehicle.
Yeah, there is. So they didn't match. So he had to get an affidavit from the police department saying, yes, this is not a stolen vehicle, that is legitimate. But what does that do to the value? I thought it distorts the value by $5,000. That maybe if I bought that vehicle or took it in trade, that I could persuade someone to purchase it because you couldn't tell. I'm telling you, they did a really good job. The paint would match. There's no issues with it. It even had a warranty with it. But how would you buy, folks, would you buy a car like that if it was $5,000 less?
Wouldn't fill you with confidence, but still, I'll go back to your point. Where is your price break here?
Yeah.
If it's attractive enough, I think we would
there's got to be sooner or later somebody's going to buy. I had a friend of mine that bought a salvage title car. Why do you buy it? He says, I got it for like 50 cents on the dollar. And he says, I've had the vehicle for 10 years. There wasn't an issue with it. He took the chance and he got a good one. Sometimes you take a chance and you got to get a bad one. But we will give you a letter of diminished value in writing. I think we're the only dealer that does that for any make and model. I know Alan Turner did it for one of his customers a couple of years ago because they told me they got a letter of diminished value, but it was on a Hyundai. I'm not sure if they do it on any make and model. That's what we do at Frontier Motors. We help people, even if they're not buying a car. So don't be afraid, even if you think you have a stupid question. You stop in at 230 Beverly Parkway or call us at 436-8080. Call Frontier Motors if you've got a question on buying or selling a car. That's what we do. And by the way, you can call a radio show here also at 478-3116. 478-3116. This is 1370. And Don and I have been doing this radio show since he was 50. And now, Don, how old are you?
71.
Don is 71 years old. Boy,
I don't look at a lot of people who think I'm 80.
We thought we were old when we started.
I know it.
Now look at us. Holy mackerel. I'm 62, so I was 52. I was 41 years old when we started. About 40 years old when we started.
Goodness, yeah. Time does get by when you're having a great time on the radio.
Was when it had air conditioning, power windows, door locks, and power brakes. Well, that's not true anymore. A loaded car now means that it has a backup camera, it has leather interior, it has electric sunroof, navigation, blind spot, cross lane detection. These are things when I talk about a loaded car, which is car lingo. I don't even like using the car lingo. Or It's going to have the best condition. People do not realize why there's certain dealers advertise their cars and buy cars at auctions that are under average condition. They do it on purpose so they can advertise it for less. Condition to me is the most important thing when I buy a car. I do not like buying cars that are not in top condition. And some dealers buy the cars in low condition. They'll bring them back. They'll spruce them up and put them on the lot. I always look at a car. If the car is in bad condition, it probably hasn't been maintained properly. If somebody won't wash their car at all and the interior is completely filthy, like it's never been cleaned, why would I be led to believe that they ever changed the oil on the car? So what I do is I buy cars that are only in very, very good condition, that I don't have to spend a lot of money on. And I think that accounts for more than the price of the vehicle. And I know that most people would agree that they'll pay a little bit more for a car in really good condition versus a below average car. And you can't see that on the internet. People make the mistake of going on the internet and finding the lowest price one, going to that dealership, and then they're disappointed. And then they come to us, 3 days later, I've been all over town looking at cars. I said, well, why haven't you bought? Everywhere I go, the cars are in below average condition, or they're smoked in, or they got bad history reports. So that's where we come in at Frontier Motors. Folks, some other things we can do. We talked about Carfax, by the way. Carfax report costs $40 plus tax. $0 at Frontier Motors. We don't charge for Carfax report. So if you're going to buy your neighbor's car, or if you're going to go to a car dealership like these smaller lots that you see over on like Palafox, some of these places don't subscribe to Carfax. They don't tell you not to run one, but they don't run it for you. At Frontier Motors, we run a Carfax and an auto check on every car. We put them in the glove box. Every car has a Carfax. We don't want to hide anything from any customer. So when you're out in the car market and you run into a car dealer that won't give you a Carfax, don't get mad at them. Just call Frontier Motors. And what we're going to do when we have you on the phone, you're going to give us a 17-digit ID number. We're going to run it. And when we run that ID number, tell you, oh, by the way, this is a bad Carfax. Or, by the way, this is a good Carfax report. It also spits out an average selling price in our area. Wouldn't that be nice to know? Let's say you call me with your neighbor's car and I tell you, hey, by the way, the guy bought it brand new. He's right. He bought it brand new. He bought it in Pensacola, brand new. And the miles are correct on there. He's always had the oil changed on it. And by the way, the average selling price is $17,000. Matter of fact, we've got a car like that on the lot for $17,000. How much is your neighbor asking? And you say, well, my neighbor's asking $20,000. I say, I don't tell you not to buy it. I don't say get mad at your neighbor. Maybe that's what the retail price is on the car. Maybe you went to the Edmunds book, and the Edmunds book says the average selling price is $20,000. So he marks it at $20,000. He's not trying to rip anybody off. He looked at the book, and that's what it says. Well, the book a lot of times is wrong. The book a lot of times is way too high. Every once in a while, it's way too low. So how do you know if the book is right or wrong? You call Frontier Motors. That's where we give you the free advice. Matter of fact, talking about free advice, I've got a friend of mine. I tried to get him to call the radio show.
Oh, yeah. He does a good job, too.
And let's see if I can get him. Oh, here he is.
Hey, Dave Ramsey here. Whether you're on baby step 1 or baby step 7, my advice when it comes to buying a car has been the same. Don't buy new. Consumer Reports last year put into writing that a new car depreciates 27% in the first 12 months. On an average price $34,000 new car, that's roughly a $9,200 loss in the first year alone. Here's what you should do instead. Go see my friends at Frontier Motors. They specialize in great used cars that still look and smell like new. Frontier Motors offers over 400 of these vehicles in stock in one location. What sets these guys apart from a regular car dealership is that they make the hated process of buying a car a stress-free experience. They're one of the few dealers that will give you a bottom line out-the-door price in writing. It's not very easy finding an honest car dealer, but I know you'll be treated right. When you shop at Frontier Motors, tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Thanks, Dave. That's pretty nice that we get him to call in, Don. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he does a fine job. Thank you for calling, Dave.
Yeah,
it's
Dave's
amazing he's able to say the same thing every time.
I know. I'm going to have him change the verbiage next time he calls in. He's always got the same thing. Folks, I got the new automotive news, not automotives, take that back, Consumers Reports magazine in, and it tells you the best make out there. Now, what they did differently, normally I bring this up because I'm a reliability fan, so I love Consumers Reports reliability, because they have one that comes out every 6 months that talks about the most reliable car, and then they have one that comes out that is the best make of car. What they do is they take reliability as one score, they take customer satisfaction, and they take roadability, that means how it drives, and they take safety. And they give everything a 25% score, and then they average out which is the best make out there total. And number one with a 91 ranking out of 100 was Genesis. Now, if you don't know what Genesis is, it's not a Hyundai. Genesis is an own division that's owned by Hyundai. Genesis now is the Highline division of Hyundai, just like Lexus is the Highline division of Toyota. So I know that Hyundai used to make a car called a Genesis, and they made a car called an Equus. Well, they don't have that anymore. They have their own luxury brand now, and they have like a G80 and a G90. Matter of fact, we have a 2018 Genesis on the lot that is a G80, and it's got 2,000 miles on, folks. This car is pearl white. It is a beautiful, beautiful car, and we can sell that car for about $12,000 less than a brand new one. At a $56,000 window sticker, and we can sell the car for about $44,000. Boy, talk about a bargain. You talk about depreciation, like Dave Ramsey said. Number two, which is kind of a sleeper, I didn't know this, and it's Audi. And I'm so happy that Audi finally made it to the top. They're still not the most reliable brand, but overall, they love Audi for their reliability, owner satisfaction, the roadability they really love, and the safety features. And I'm so happy that we have a local Audi dealership. It's a Sonic-owned dealership, which Pensacola Honda and Pensacola Audi is owned by Sonic Group. They're a big nationwide conglomerate, and they built a brand new Audi dealership here. And of course, as most of you know, also a brand new Honda dealership they built here. And Audi is number 2. BMW, which I never thought this would happen. BMW is number 3. I wasn't a big BMW fan, Don, because of their reliability. And even now they just say that the reliability is just average on a BMW, which you think for that expensive of a German, I was born in Germany, so I'm a German fan. So why would I not be a fan of BMWs? Well, because I sell cars for a living, and I've had a lot of issues with the older BMWs. When we started, we started 21 years ago, so I started selling used BMWs, and they would come back with issues, customer complaints. My car's leaking oil. The gauge package will go out. They had to, after about 5 years, the dashboard wouldn't light up anymore. They have digital dashboards. You couldn't even see how many miles were on your car. You couldn't see your gas gauge, and every one of them had to be. Pretty much everyone had to be replaced, and it was $500-$600. So they weren't a very reliable car. Well, guess what? They are now. So I'm happy for Sandy Sansing because they have now a really good brand that they can sell. And of course, we are the alternative to new. So if you're going to buy a brand new BMW, you definitely would want to go to Sandy Sansing's dealership. And if you're thinking about buying one that might be 1 year old, you might want to stop at Frontier Motors. Lexus is the most reliable brand, but they're number 4 as far as the best total overall car. Then Porsche, that's another car that used to be a piece of crap as far as I'm concerned, but not anymore. Porsche is way up there, and we sell Porsches now, even though you got to go and be able to service them, but people want their Porsches. Kia, Korean make Kia. They went from zero to hero.
Say it had a bad reputation.
Yeah, in 20 years, from zero to hero. Kia was number 6. Subaru is number 7. Tesla is number 8, even though the reliability lately has gone in the toilet. They've had a multitude of recalls, but people love their Teslas. They rated one of the highest on customer satisfaction. People that buy a Tesla will buy another one. They love it. They love it. Honda is number 9. Then Toyota. Isn't that interesting? Toyota is number 10, way under Kia and the rest of the brand. And I was surprised to see Chrysler at number 11. Chrysler is usually not that good of a car, but Chrysler has really done well in the last year, even ahead of Infiniti and Volkswagen and Mercedes-Benz and Lincoln. So those are your best makes out there. Reliability, folks, has always been the same since I started doing this 21 years ago. It's always Toyota and Lexus. Most reliable cars out there overall.
Right.
All their cars. Number 3 last year, most reliable car. Can't believe it. Kia. Kia is the most reliable car. Number 4 is Audi, then BMW, which again caught me sleeping. Subaru, number 6. Infiniti, number 7. Buick, number 8. Honda, number 9. Isn't that something? Honda, number 9. Buick is ahead of Honda.
I never would have believed that.
Buick is ahead of Honda, and Kia is ahead of Honda. Unbelievable. Then number 11 is Nissan, then Mazda, then Porsche, then Mercedes. Mercedes is number 14. Very interesting that Mercedes would be number 14, right neck and neck with Ford and Volkswagen, that they are so low on the list, which is really interesting because they're such an expensive car. And I love the way they drive, but when they get older, they have issues. And people ask me if I would recommend a Mercedes product. I would, if you buy one that's 5 years old or newer. And I would not if it was older than 5 years. Obviously, there's a reason for that because I have experience with customers that have bought them, and I ask for their feedback when they come to trade them in. They say this car has been not a very good car. I've had a lot of issues with it. Well, when you hear that multiple times, just like I had with the older BMWs, you pretty much got to throw in a towel, and you go with cars that are more reliable. And isn't that the whole name of the game when you're buying a used car? What do people look for in a used car other than looks? It's reliability. How long is this car going to last me? Well, then why wouldn't you buy the most reliable car possible? Well, one reason that you don't buy the most reliable car is maybe you don't like the way it looks. Maybe you don't like the way it rides.
We all have our preferences.
Why would a customer buy a Mercedes-Benz knowing that it's not reliable? Well, because they like it. It's a status symbol, number one.
Right.
I drive a Mercedes. They love the way it looks, and they love the way it rides because they ride great. They're a very good riding car. They're very comfortable. They've got a lot of safety features. But as far as reliability, they're not that reliable. And I've had multiple customers that have gone to me, even buying newer Mercedes, and said, I wouldn't buy another one. I love the car, but they got to do something with this reliability situation.
Wasn't that the case with Jaguar for a while? I mean, wasn't no...
Jaguar is still down there, Don, but way, way better than it used to be.
Good.
I sold Jaguars back in 1988 as one of the bands, and I was embarrassed to sell Jaguars because they had so many issues. I didn't even want to sell one anymore because my customers would pay $80,000 for a Jaguar, and 2 days later, half the engine would fall out of the car, or the check engine light would come on. They had to rebuild the motor, stuff like that. And I said, I am done. But now, fast forward, Jaguar. Matter of fact, Bobby Likas drives a Jaguar. He's got a beautiful Jaguar that he purchased, and he loves that car. Of course, he knows how to fix them, but
well, yeah.
I don't think he's had any issues. Last time I talked to him, he hadn't had any issues with the car. I love Jaguars. I like the way they ride. I like the depreciation of a Jaguar. Folks, if you want to buy a car at a bargain and you like Jaguars, do not buy a brand new Jaguar. You can save up to $20,000 on a 1-year-old Jaguar. That's how fast they depreciate because the stigma is still out there that they're not that good. But boy, do they drive great. Mm-hmm. Now, do we have any calls?
No, so far it's quiet. Don't worry, you'll be the first to know if we do. But if you wanted to, you would call us at 478-3116. But I got to tell you this, get on with it. We only got about 5 minutes left here. Iven Streckel is the owner of Frontier Motors, who is the sponsor of today's show, as you might well expect. They are located, the dealership, at 230 Beverly Parkway. The numbers may not mean anything, but when you cross Highway 29 on Brent Lane, it magically becomes Beverly Parkway. Look for the big car lot where the big 14-foot fiberglass Buffalo was located on the north side of the road, and you're there.
That's right. We got the Buffalo instead of the $50,000 sign.
Yeah.
Consumers Reports did a graph last April, and it's the first time they actually put in a writing what I've been talking about for 21 years, where they actually said that the average price of a new car last year was $35,000, and the average first-year depreciation was 27%. If you multiply that out, folks, that comes to $9,200 depreciation in 1 year. That always mystifies me that 17 million people bought a brand new car knowing that the first year, if they trade 1 year later, they're going to lose $9,200. Why not buy a 1-year-old car and save a bunch of money? Even if you only save $5,000, isn't that a lot? If you bought a 2018 model car right now, which, by the way, could almost be 1 year old, not quite. They come out in July, September, so they're probably about 7 months old right now. So, but if you bought even a 17 that is 1 year old, and let's say it's got 5,000 miles on it, and I could save you $5,000, wouldn't it be worth it? And what if I paid more for the trade-in? One thing about an independent dealer like Frontier Motors, we take everything in trade, every make and model. When you go to a Lexus dealership, they would rather have you trade in a Highline product for their used car lot. Doesn't necessarily have to be a Lexus, but maybe Mercedes or BMW. That's the type of people that come on their used car lot. So if you've got a Kia Sedona minivan, for example, or an F-350 pickup truck or a Corvette, how excited is the Lexus dealership going to be about appraising that car? Not very excited. There's not too many people going to a Highline used car lot like Lexus or Jaguar that's looking for an F-350, for example. So you come to Frontier Motors, we sell every make and model, and we take every make and model in trade. And we know a lot about every make and model. We don't know everything, but we know a lot about it because we deal in every make and model. Last time I counted, it was like 260 different makes and models out there. I should say models of cars, which is a lot. And we try to have all of them. Last count, we had about 340 cars in inventory. We try to keep 400 cars in stock. That gives you the ability to have multiple units. So if you're looking for a Ford Explorer, for example, I've got 5 Ford Explorers on the lot. If you're looking for a Camry, I've got 7 or 8 Camrys on the lot right now. We talked about the Buick Encores. I've got 4 Buick Encores. We've got Toyota Sequoias. I've got a Toyota Sequoia, for example, a 17 model with 870 miles on it that I bought from a private individual that bought it and said, to change my mind, I don't need a big vehicle like this. So he did something different. So he heard the radio show. He says, hey, I hear you guys buy cars. I said, yeah. And he came in within 15 minutes. I told him, this is what I'll write you a check for. He said, hold on. He actually had to pay for it. He said, hold on. Let me go get the title.
Right.
So we bought that vehicle within a matter of minutes. And that's one of the things that I want to reiterate to everybody, folks, that I have more trouble buying cars than I have selling cars. We have so many repeat customers that love Frontier Motors. They love the way we do business. They love that we're not.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, that's right. How many cars did you buy?
I think I'm up to 8.
8 different cars Don bought.
Over the last 15 years.
And he actually paid for them. It wasn't a...
That's true, but I'm open to a gift.
Can't do it, Don. IRS is not letting us do that
Fine.
anymore like the old days. Remember the old days?
Oh,
You
I
could
do.
trade. You could just trade. Hey, I'll do this advertising. Let me use a car.
Right.
It doesn't happen anymore. Don bought 8 cars from us, and he had to pay for every single one. But Don likes the process because he'll pick out a car, and he'll say, Ivan, how much is it? I'll give him a good deal right off the bat. We don't have to sit there and negotiate. I know I'm going to make money, but I do a lot of research because I don't want to be embarrassed. So what I do is I find out what every lot is selling a car like that for, so I can see, okay, wait a minute, this one's cheaper, but wait, it's got 30,000 more miles on it.
Right.
This one's a little more expensive, so mine's a better deal. So
Actually, the last 2 I just called up.
Yeah, he called up
to Scott Ford, and I said, I need a car. Give me an SUV.
Yeah,
and then hung
and you
up
like
the
what
phone.
we had. And I think, matter of fact, you bought a Mitsubishi Outlander, which now has about 120,000 miles on it.
132.
132. He's almost ready, folks. And I don't want to jinx it. I don't want your transmission to fall out, Don. I hope
Thank
it lasts
you.
for 200,000 miles because you're a good spokesman for Frontier Motors. Folks, I only got a minute left, so I want to let you know that we're videotaping this for Blab TV, but also videotaping this for YouTube, so you can find this on YouTube. You can find this show on Facebook and like us on Facebook, and we post some of our cars on there. If we got something new coming in, we put it on Facebook right off the bat, so you can see the latest and greatest, like the new Lexus LC500 that we just purchased, a 2018 model, new body style. It's a really cool car. We've got one at Frontier Motors, so we put it on Facebook. We've got a great website, so you can go ahead and check us out on our website, and every one of those cars has a price on it. So we are being cut off, so I want to say thank you for listening, and thank you for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier. We got the right price. Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors. Low overhead country.